one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
I can't even think about all of the shit I did to fit in. Past hard to watch like a fucking scary movie. I'm always happy to meet somebody that never knew me. Change for the better, hope niggas are living through me. I put it all on the wax so the people can know the true me. Hard to remain sane when the people you love the most is what's causing the damn pain. Y'all beef by the same thing, we ain't playing the same game. It's all for my family. She the girl of your fucking dreams, but to me she a plain Jane. You dipper and ball man, I dump when them calls came. This that higher level thinking. I'm the type to jump the fuck off for the shit before it's sinking. Not here for no new shit. My game slide to boost it. Ain't I don't have to prove shit. Rockstar fight the fool shit. My movie, this the new script. I want a life with no bullshit. Nigga, I know on these news clips. That's why I dap him and move quick. Won't be around when they move switch. Won't be around when they lose clips. Won't be around for they lose lips. Might be the reason they pull shit. Yeah.
Now, we should talk about C.D. Lamb. Did you know the number 8 stands for new beginning? That's why 88 is so special. God knows I needed so many new beginnings.
Yo, listen to me, yo. I'm telling you right now. If I had the rights to different type of Christmas music, that's what the intro would have been. Dead ass. Yo, when I get big, bro, the month of December and October gonna be lit. I'm trying to tell you right now. Thanksgiving might end up being the month where I let people go on break. I'm not saying that in a dominatory fashion, but just like that's when probably the breaks will be taken. Because fuck Thanksgiving. That's how I feel. I'm not answering for it. But I do have a couple things to get off my chest. Apologies for that awkward little pause right there. First and foremost, Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. It is 1:31 East Coast time, meaning it is indeed Christmas. Hey, nothing but immaculate vibes the entirety of this day. I mean, it was immaculate vibes yesterday also, but Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy holidays for whatever holiday you celebrating around this time. I wish you and your family nothing but happiness, peace, and hope you get every fucking thing you asked for Christmas. We had games today. Well, yesterday. We got games today too, but we had a slate of them bitches yesterday. A slate of them. For some reason, I sat and watched the Baltimore Ravens game from start to finish. Now, obviously, I'm a Ravens fan, so I watch all our games. But I actually do not be wanting to sit and watch Tyler Huntley play. And I don't want this to sound like I'm taking a shot at Tyler Huntley. But I just don't enjoy watching Tyler Huntley play. I don't. And it's almost as if I realize more and more every time I watch him play, what he can't do stand out to me far more than the few things that he can do. And you could say, the offense ain't really built for him or whatever. I don't know. But what I do know is Tyler Huntley is a backup quarterback, plain and simple, which is why the Ravens are going to be in close games for the remainder of the season while Lamar is not playing. Like, they have close games with Lamar, but at least they blowing leads when Lamar in the game. They can barely score without Lamar. But I'm not here to go at Lamar. But I did end up watching the Baltimore game all the way through. I watched the Cowboys-Eagles game, which is the game I'm finna talk about in a couple minutes. I'm not finna go over that Baltimore game too much right now, if at all. I'm going to run through the scores real quick, but yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know what game I spent the most time watching today. I watched 3 games specifically. Baltimore game, Cowboys game, and the Steelers game. But let's get into the scores. The 8-5-1. Still can't believe so many teams got these records. The 8-5-1 Giants headed into Minnesota to take on the 11-3 Minnesota Vikings, and they lost by a 61-yard field goal. Wow. 24-27 Minnesota. That is their 11th one-score game this year, which is a record, I believe it was. The 8th time they came from behind to win a game. Absolutely insane. And with that being said, I still don't believe this is a Super Bowl caliber team. But shout out to the Vikings, bro. They make, you know what's odd about the Vikings? When you watch the Vikings play, it's like they make a lot of crazy big plays throughout a game. And it end up mattering because they end up winning these games. But it's like, damn, bro, we do so much good in the game. It feel like we would win these games easier, more handily, without so much stress. But, you know, whatever. A win is a win. The 7-7 Seahawks, who are falling. I think they done lost 5 of their last 6 games. They headed into Kansas City to take on the 11-3 Kansas City Chiefs, and I told you, I couldn't take the Seahawks in this game. They lose 10-24 in Kansas City. The biggest reason I couldn't take the Seahawks is I wanted this to be a shootout because I know how bad Kansas City's defense is passing-wise. But I didn't want to believe it's not that I didn't want to believe. I wanted to confirm at first by seeing another game or two. This offense right now for the Seahawks is just not that great anymore. They're not consistent anymore. I don't watch them a shit ton to tell you all the different problems that's wrong with the offense right now. But one of the biggest problems, and I really hate to say this because I don't want to put this all on Geno, and it's not all on Geno. But Geno's regression from the beginning of the season to now is very obvious to me when you watch them play. And it's a lot of throws he missed. I still think Geno hold on to the ball too long at times, but Geno not the only problem with the Seahawks. I just think it's funny that the Seahawks talked all this shit to Russ to start the season, not focused on your own team because you thought everything was locked up. And now this team probably won't even make the playoffs. But the 5-9 Falcons headed to Baltimore to take on the 9-5. The 5-9 Falcons went to Baltimore to take on the 9-5 Ravens. They lose 9-17 in Baltimore to the Ravens. And, you know, it was Desmond Ridder showed some, you know, good signs throughout, you know, parts of the game. The fourth quarter, you know, that's when the Ravens defense choose to give up the most yards and whatnot. So he had some nice little throws and plays in the fourth quarter. The Falcons offense just couldn't score. They couldn't run. They made some throws when it really didn't matter much. They couldn't really convert when they got into the red zone. See, that's the thing. If they had converted touchdowns in the red zone, they probably win this game because of how limited Baltimore's offense is. But they couldn't. And so because Roquan Smith had himself a hell of a game. Because of that, I still think it's insane that I heard somebody say on a sports television show the other week that they thought Baltimore had the best linebacking core in football. That's absolutely that's just a stupid thing to say. I appreciate how better Patrick Queen looked with Roquan Smith playing, but I still watch the games. Patrick Queen is not no top 10 linebacker. And he definitely, while I agree this is a better linebacking core because of how, that's what great players do for teams. Or do for their unit. Like Roquan Smith, you put him on, you plug him in. I have been saying they needed a player like him to man the middle, and boom, defense look complete. Well, I ain't gonna say it look completely different, but it's a way better defense, linebacking core, especially with Roquan Smith. Now that's interesting when you talk about how much do you pay Patrick Queen, because you're not gonna pay him like a top linebacker, but you know he played good beside Roquan Smith. But the problem is, if you ever have Roquan Smith taken away from him, do he go back to being the Patrick Queen he was before Roquan Smith? Now, what I will give Patrick Queen is, while I still think he a bad linebacker overall, I think he would still be a far better blitzing player, which is what they usually do with him anyways, because he still missed tackles. He still run past tackles. He's still smaller than a lot of dudes, so he gets shrugged off. It just is what it is. I mean, we can act like we don't see these things just because Roquan Smith showed up, but these things still happen. So I'm interested to see what happened with Roquan, with Patrick Queen, because when C.J. Mosley was when they let him walk, I was pissed because it was no question in my mind that C.J. Mosley was a top middle linebacker in football, and he done returned to form after the injuries he had previous season. He one of the top linebackers in football once again. That still bothered me to this day that they let him walk. Because I don't really know if Roquan is better than CJ. I just know he's younger than CJ, so you probably get more value right now. But CJ Mosley is still a top linebacker in football to me. The way he can play the run, the pass, he can blitz. Like, CJ Mosley is damn near a perfect middle linebacker. And so I know people who talk to me be like, oh, well, you got to stop thinking about CJ Mosley. That's why you're so hard on Patrick Queen. Not really. I don't hold him to the CJ Mosley standard. I don't blame him for C.J. Mosley not being in Baltimore. I blame Eric DeCosta and them boys for that. I just see what I see when it comes to Patrick Queen. And I didn't even mean to turn this into a Patrick Queen thing. But, listen, bro. Baltimore's not – I'm not telling you that they can't win a playoff game. What I am telling you is the load that will be on Lamar Jackson when he get back is crazy. And I hear the conversations of should he sit, should he play. Listen, he already done started playing this year. So I'm not even speaking from the fan perspective when I say he should just go ahead and finish the season off. That's probably what he thinking. Like, he already done started. However, I'm not opposed to him not playing again this year. They playing with this man's money. They done disrespected him at every level. If that man say I ain't playing another down this year, I respect him for it, to be honest with you. Because what the Ravens have done to Lamar Jackson this season and since he done been in the league, to me, it's pathetic, bro. They legitimately holding him hostage at this point. So basically, this is one of those, bro, we drafted you. We gave you a chance. Yada, yada, yada. This is what this feel like right now. You should take what we get. Like, that's what it feel like. And if you watch baseball, you know wins above replacement is like, that's one of the biggest ways people determine the value of a player. Lamar Jackson's wins above replacement, it's got to be the highest in the league. Maybe Patrick Mahomes is higher, slightly. But when you measure what a team could do with and without a player, you take Lamar Jackson off of the Ravens, bro. This is not a good team. I don't care who they got on that defense. The offense is showing you what they can do without Lamar Jackson. You think a full season, they would look like the Denver Broncos. Not being able to put up at least 18 points to win a game. But hey, you got bozos running around saying Tyler Huntley is just like Lamar just because he could run the ball a little bit. Not to mention, and I done said this multiple times, Tyler Huntley don't even run the ball like Lamar Jackson. Like, nowhere. Fuck a Lamar. Tyler Huntley is not a good running quarterback. Let me put it like that. He don't run the ball better than Hurts. He don't run it better than, and I don't even like the way they run the ball with Fields in Chicago, because he basically the running back. Like, they legitimate, and I don't even think they calling these plays. It's just he just legitimately is it's damn near quarterback draw every play, or I'm just gonna run because I'm my first person. I can't remember the last time I seen a player run into more. Now, Russell Wilson, as far as his pocket presence, he consistently running into sacks. But this is not the same as far as like when a quarterback get out and he got room to run, he immediately run himself into a big hit outside the pocket or when he get going downfield. And I don't know what it is with Tyler Huntley, but this motherfucker run himself into big hits more than any player I remember in recent memory, bro. Like, this motherfucker take big hits almost every game. That's why it's interesting to me when I listen to people continuously say, oh, Lamar could play the way he played. I never hear nobody say that about Josh Allen. And if you take away his legs and just have his arm, Josh Allen done had hella ugly games with his arms. Josh Allen haven't really put together a top-tier season. He started off hot all the time, and he fluttered down the stretch. It just is what it is. He had a rough game today. I still love my boy. But it is what it is. I don't hear nobody talking about, if Josh Allen get hurt and lose his legs. Do you realize how much a part of the Josh Allen's success got to do with his legs? Now, I love Josh Allen, so I wish he stopped taking some of the hits that he take. But, you tell that to a Bill fan, he built like a tank. All right. Carson Wentz was built big, too, and he got hurt off of one big hit. So, to me, as much as I'm going back to Tyler Huntley, because that's what I was meaning to help. In my opinion, when it comes to Tyler Huntley, I'm not trying to be critical of him. I want to stress that. I don't even want to put it on Tyler Huntley. J.K. Dobbins had a good game. Shout out to Gus Edwards. He had a very great game. Good to see him healthy again. This just, to me, bro, I don't even give a fuck that those two dudes had great games, honestly, because they don't do it when Lamar Jackson playing and they actually need a big game. They not going to come through. Like, J.K. Dobbins had an atrocious playoff game against the Bills. I mean, the drops that he had in that game, that's where I'm at with these Ravens players, bro. Like, I'm at the point where the way people treat Lamar, that's how I'm treating the players on the Ravens. Whoop-de-fucking-do, bro. Go make a play when it matter in games that matter for Lamar. Because The only thing that these Ravens players have been consistent at since Lamar got there is letting him down and him taking the blame for it. I never see these motherfuckers get on TV and try, because I've seen players get on TV and eat blame. I see Jordan Poyer get on Pat McAfee show and eat the blame for Josh Allen all the time. The Ravens players I rarely ever see get on, and I'm not saying they don't vibe with Lamar. I'm just saying the fact that they don't have that type of self-awareness where we are fucking up this man's career. He is a legitimate stud quarterback, and they talking crazy about him because of what we are not doing. That's just crazy to me. But either way, the 7-7 Detroit Lions headed to Carolina, cold-ass Carolina, to take on the 5-9 Panthers, and they lose 23-37. Listen, bro, I knew I was a jinx on the Lions when I picked them against good teams. Did not think they was going to walk out here and let the Panthers run for 300-plus yards on them on the ground. If you gave the Panthers another quarter, or if they didn't have the success they had in the passing game when they did, they probably run for 500 fucking yards in this game. They had over 500 yards of offense. Like, this is what I'm saying, bro. Is every fucking time I pick the Lions to win a game, every time they lose. And they always lose in the craziest fashions or in the ways where I'm like, bro, why the fuck did I pick this team? Like, and it's really upsetting, bro. I'm not going to stunt with you, bro. Like, the Lions really irritate me with this shit. Because it's just like, my guy, my man. How many times am I going to pick you smartly and you going to lose? Like, God, this is why I don't bet or gamble. But speaking on the Lions, I mean, not the Lions, the Panthers. Shout out to Steve Wilkes. I believe personally he should get that job and have a chance to build that team in his image. I love the Panthers defense. I done said it all year. I think they'll be better next year. Panthers just a team that's going to consistently have a good defense when they got a good team or when they got a team that's competing. And they seem to have a good one already, but they just got to add pieces. You got J.C. Horn, Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson. I mean, it's just so many studs on that Panthers defense. And I hate to see Christian McCaffrey, who finally didn't run for 100 yards in a game for the 49ers this week. It sucks to see how much success he done had outside of Carolina because I loved Christian McCaffrey in Carolina. I just knew that could not work anymore. It was in a alternate universe. Christian McCaffrey and Cam Newton ended up getting a great receiver, and they ended up winning some things. But we ain't in that alternate universe. And I really do think it sucks because Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey could have been special. They could have been special. But Christian wasn't ready his first year in the league with Cam. And after that, it was all injuries for both of them ever since. And that really do suck because both of them motherfuckers is two of my favorite players to watch all time. I say it all the time. Like, two of my favorite players to watch is Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey. So it sucked to see that their success was apart. Because when you got two talents like that, you wish that they could have had success together. Either way, though, Carolina's running back Dante Foreman and Carolina always seem to have if you my age, you could probably remember the Panthers when they had D'Angelo Williams and Deshaun Foster, I think his name was, like a dominant running back duo in the back. And then they had D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. It feel like Chuba Hubbard, I think that's his Chuba Hubbard, could be along with Foreman, could be another dominant Panthers running core. The Panthers have a great team right now. Now I don't want to say they got a great team. You plug in a good if Lamar Jackson was the quarterback of the Panthers, this would be a Super Bowl contending team. It just is what it is. If you put Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, I'm going to get to Joe Burrow in a minute. But you put great quarterbacks on the Panthers right now. The Panthers are a good team. So I am shocked they win this game 37-23 because I just felt like the Lions should have brought. Maybe it's just because the Lions are not putting these type of efforts. They don't play these type of games on a routinely basis. So when a real big game actually pop up, they wasn't ready for it. Maybe that's the excuse. I don't know. But the whole world put faith in the Lions. And the whole world was let down. The 10-4 Bengals headed to New England. Couldn't even get my words out. To take on the 7-7 New England Patriots. What a fucking game. So New England go down 22-0 on this game. Yo, before I get into the game, I heard the comments Julian Edelman made about Mac Jones, and I just think it's so crazy when you got former players who come out and say shit like that. Like former players who come out and attack Mac Jones. For one, because he wouldn't have came out and attacked no real quarterback, like no established quarterback with like that. Like I see other quarterbacks who established go at it or get in their teammates' faces and shit like that. And I don't hear Julian Edelman coming out and saying nothing then. And for Julian Edelman to speak and talk about him having a pissy attitude, he wasn't trained in having that or whatever, he don't practice that. My guy, you didn't have to play under the circumstances that this kid got to play under. And on top of that, you got Tom Brady. If you ain't Rob Gronkowski or Randy Moss, I really don't care to hear what you have to say if you played with Tom Brady. Because you ain't getting this success. Brady is. And I'm not talking about people won't give you the success. But Julian Edelman off of the Patriots is not the Julian Edelman that's on the Patriots. That's why Julian Edelman only played on the Patriots. His success only came on the Patriots, playing with Tom Brady. Now, some people could make that an argument for Gronk. But the problem with making that argument against Gronk is Gronk outgrew that argument a long time ago. Gronk is widely recognized as the top tight end to ever play the game or one up. Ain't no smart football fan saying Julian Edelman is a top player. And I ain't even want to go to that. But I just find it very funny that somebody in Julian Edelman who done played in this game as long as he have, taking a shot at Mac Jones like that. A quarterback dealing with what he done had to deal with this year, and then you being a former player for this organization feeling like, nah, I'm not going to protect the player. I'm going to protect the organization. What? That's crazy to me. And so if I was Mac Jones, my next interview, I would have told Julian Edelman, I would have made sure I made it a point. Oh, yeah, and Julian Edelman, suck a dick. But that's just me. Either way, the Bengals was up 22-0 in this game at one point in time. And they hold on to win 22-18. And yet again, I find it funny that you got this kind of critique or you got this to say about Mac Jones. Because do you have this to say about a guy like, do you understand? For one, Mac Jones ain't even doing this to players. He's doing it to coaches. Why am I mad at Mac Jones for going at a coach and holding them responsible like they try to hold players responsible? Anyways, do Mac Jones, should he not be mad at Stevenson? 2 fumbles in 2 weeks that basically cost you a game? Should he not be mad at that? I mean, like I said multiple times, I'm not coming out here telling you that Mac Jones is one of them top quarterbacks that I continuously talk about. What I am telling you is that Mac Jones is a far quarterback than he has been, than he has showed, and it's clearly a situation that is hindering his growth and development. Something that Julian Edelman should have easily understood. But I digress. You look at these mistakes that the Patriots continue to make to beat themselves. They should have won this game. They should have won the game last week. They got other games this season they should have won. It's not even a bad team. It's a team that's dealing with multiple coaching problems that's hindering the offense, and coaching problems is letting this team beat themselves on a weekly basis. How do the Patriots get the turnover on the Bengals? They can get a field goal, but you need 4 points. You right there, bruh. And the only reason they needed 4 points is because the missed point afters by Folk. None of this shit is on Mac Jones. And yet and still. Now, I'm bothered by how many times they decided to hand the ball off down in the red zone when you running the ball that great. I mean, I would just imagine you would let Mac Jones take a shot. But, you know, maybe I think differently if not for the fact that Stevenson fumbles the ball in that spot. But to fumble the ball in that spot, that's ridiculous. And then he come right back on the field the next drive and drop like 2 passes. I'm not truly understanding how Mac Jones is supposed to succeed in the confines of what he is having to deal with. But that is just me. The Patriots lose that game, and they now fall to 7-8, and they probably will not be making the playoffs. The Saints, 5-9, they head into I was going to say Buffalo. They head into Cleveland and take on the 6-8 Cleveland Browns. Somebody made a joke about Deshaun Watson today, and that shit was hilarious. But the Cleveland Browns lose 10-17. Deshaun Watson with yet another horrendous game. I don't know how long it's going to take for this motherfucker to get going again, but man, I know they hoping that shit get going in the summertime, because they do not want to be dealing with this shit to start a season off next year. Because Deshaun looked bad. It just is what it is. And like I said, I knew they wouldn't continue to lean on Nick Chubb. I thought they would. I thought they'd try. They didn't. The Saints ended up winning this game on a turnover. Well, they got a turnover close to the Saints did enough to win this game. It wasn't really impressive. It was 17-10 win. They ain't spending too much time on that. The 11-3 Buffalo Bills headed into the I'm tripping. I saw something on the TV and then I looked the other way. I gotta chill out. The 11-3 Buffalo Bills headed into Chicago, cold ass Chicago, to take on the 3-11 Bears. And I'm still reminded of the conversation I had with a dude when this Bears team was like 3-4, and the dude was like, I told him, I said, Justin Fields is not playing winning football for 4 quarters. And he argued me up and down, him and this other dude, Justin Fields, how you gonna say he not playing winning football for? And he was blaming everybody else. And I'm like, bruh, I don't watch damn near every single one of these Chicago games. Justin Fields is not playing winning football for 4 quarters. For one, they dumbed down the offense so much to where it's the basic passes that damn near every pass Justin Fields hit, the dude is wide the fuck open. What am I supposed to learn from a dude who just hitting wide open targets because of how they dumbed down the offense so much so that usually when he do throw it, somebody is probably wide open because the offense rarely throw the ball. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to get from it, but the Bears lose again. And since that comment and that conversation with the dude, the Bears have done nothing but lose. And I think it's weird to say people give Justin Fields a lot of credit for losing. Credit they didn't give Lamar Jackson for winning. And that's a real strange thing because people keep wanting to compare him to Lamar. I don't think he's nowhere near as good as Lamar Jackson. That's what I'm thinking is weird to me. People still have not reconstructed their opinions on their thoughts of how Lamar Jackson would be coming out of the draft. Because Lamar Jackson now in his, 5th year is far better. I don't think people realize Lamar Jackson's first full season in the league, he won a unanimous MVP. His first full season as a quarterback, which was his 2nd year, because his first year he came in relief halfway through the season to a team that was under 500. They won out the rest of the way to get to the playoffs, or they won one game, lost one game, and won the rest of them to get to the playoffs. People talk about him losing in the playoffs to the Chargers team that he had just played weeks before, but they don't talk about what he did to get that team to the playoffs because they wanted their thoughts on Lamar to be correct. So they ignored that good that he did to get to the playoffs. Justin Fields is being praised, and this motherfucker got this team sitting at 3-11 in a division that was up in the air this year. I understand what the Vikings did, but if they had one team that was competitive, I don't see no growth in a team that's 3-11. Lamar Jackson came in with his first full year of starting and won a unanimous MVP. And for some reason, people keep comparing him to other quarterbacks that y'all like or something. And that's just weird to me, bro. I know people like, man, he bring Lamar Jackson up for everything. You damn skippy, I do. But I just think it's crazy. But the Bills end up winning this game 35-3. It's not a coincidence that they end up eventually pulling away in the game that they started off slow because while Josh Allen make a lot of he made some bad throws in this game. The fact of the matter is, it's like what I said about the Bengals a couple weeks ago. The Bengals can play against a team that can't score and struggle to score just like that team do on a weekly basis. They can do that in that game. But they'll still win that game because eventually they'll start scoring because they score points. It's the same thing with the Bills. The Bears struggle to score points. I don't know why people think just because if you can stop Justin Fields from running, which is what I told you the Bills would find a way to do, they did. If you don't let him go out there and act like a running back, then the Bears offense get back to looking stagnant, slow, boring, can't do nothing. Because he is not a drop back passer. He's not a quarterback that's about to scan the field and try to hit somebody that's open or try to break down the defense. You have to call up a specific play and tell him exactly where that ball is supposed to go. He got to know where that ball is supposed to go. And I'm not trying to make it seem like he's a scrub or nothing. I'm just telling you what I see when I watch Justin Fields play, which is why I know he's not an NFL quarterback right now. Can he get to it? Possibly. I saw Trevor Lawrence turn into an NFL quarterback last year, even though I knew Trevor Lawrence was an NFL quarterback. However, Justin Fields was a better passer in college. So it's not like I'm calling him just a running quarterback. It's shocking to me that he run the way he do, considering he didn't run like this in college. However, running like that, you will eventually get hurt. Like, he played kind of how people think Lamar play, whereas his best assets is the fact that he run. And he really don't throw the ball that great, but everybody give him credit for it. Like, people were still saying Lamar Jackson couldn't throw, and he led the league in touchdowns his first full season as a quarterback, under center, as a starter. And he still was disrespected. Justin Fields is literally throwing wide open touchdowns to people on, like, and the offense has been so dumbed down as far as the passing scheme, and people still praise him. And I don't know if it's because they were wrong on Lamar, so they trying to be overly right on Justin Fields. But Justin Fields is not a good quarterback to me. And it don't matter how many times people continue to sit around and marvel at his highlight. This fucking team is 3-11. They worse this year than they were last year, I believe. I got to go look up the record. But I'm almost certain they worse this year. That means it's a regression. The problem, that is not a bad head coach that they had. And I told you in the beginning of the season, I wish they had went out and got an offensive-minded head coach. But I don't have a problem with their head coach. He ain't the problem. People keep giving Justin Fields credit because the team is in games. I give that credit to the head coach and the team more so than just Justin Fields. I understand what Justin Fields doing. I also see what he do when teams finally shut that run shit down towards the end of games and shit, and he got to throw the ball. I don't understand this half-ass analysis of Justin Fields. And I understand people keep saying, oh, well, he got nothing around him. Chase Claypool is better than every receiver on Baltimore. And I understand he just got him. But I would take Darryl Mooney over every receiver on the Baltimore Ravens. So this excuse if he don't got nobody also don't ring for me, because Lamar Jackson won with nothing, and he got an MVP, a unanimous MVP beside him. And he ain't got no Pro Bowlers on that offense. You not mistaking Hollywood for no for no fucking Devontae Adams. So I got a problem when people use that as an excuse. It need to be somebody who really, and I have yet to see somebody true, except for LaShawn McCoy, but he's so aggressive with it, people don't try to listen to what he say. But he like the only person in the media who I done seen be legitimately honest about what we seeing from Justin Fields. And so I don't get it. But they gonna continue to lose. Y'all gonna continue to tell him that he great. And this is what's gonna happen. And the Bills end up winning 35-13. So, yet another loss. I just don't get this Bears shit, bro. I really don't. If the Bears were smart, they would draft a quarterback with that high draft pick they gonna end up with. They probably gonna end up with a top 5 draft pick. If they go into next season with Justin Fields as the starting quarterback, they will be back in the top draft next year. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. If he continue to play the way he playing, and there is no true development with it. See, it'd be a difference if I could look at this team and honestly say, yo, this offensive play calling is holding these motherfuckers back. Justin Fields' limited skill set is what's holding this team back, because the coach is trying to find a way to coach around what he can do, which is run the ball. But I'm pretty sure the coach know we cannot win the real big games like this. And so, hey, it is what it is. The 1-12-1 Texans head into the Tennessee Titans Stadium. Nissan Stadium, I believe it is, to take on the 7-7 Titans, who are now 7-8, because I told you. No, I did not pick the Texans because I just didn't want to do that on a good conscience. There's just no way you should be picking the Texans to win a game. But I told you. I stressed it. I said I really feel like the Texans winning this game. I wasn't going to pick it, but I basically picked it and said I just got this strong feeling the Texans winning this game. Here's why. If for people who actually care on why my intuition was so strong on that game. When you look at how the Titans, how bad they've played offensively the last couple weeks, it's one thing for Baltimore to play as bad as they played. They ain't got Lamar, and they also have no weapons. It's another thing when you got a team, and they also have no established on what do we do on offense. People keep saying it's a running team, but they run because they have no other choice, because they don't have good players to get open, like Stephen A. Smith said on Friday. However, you look at a team like the Titans. We know what they do best. And somehow they can no longer do that. And you plake out Ryan Tannehill and you plug in Malik Willis in pressure situations at the end of the season. A dude who ain't played but 2 games, if that. this was never going to go good. And I felt that. And based off of what I saw from Malik Willis in his first couple games, I was like, I don't think he at the level where he can lead a team to a dub right now, especially in these type of situations. And I was right. And then the Texans, I said, as ugly, as bad as and unwatchable as this team may be, the last couple weeks they done been in a game with the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and some other team. Could have won every single one of them games. I said the Titans is not those teams. The Texans can play like they played against the Cowboys and win this game. The only reason I didn't pick the Texans because I was like the Texans really might be trying to make sure they get that number 1 pick in the draft because they do a lot of dumbass shit at the end of games to ensure they lose games. And then I read through the schedule and I was like, they really could win this game though and it wouldn't affect them losing that first pick in the draft. And they did exactly that. I was actually proud about the Texan win. I kept going back and forth checking that score because I was like, yo, I really want the Texans to win this game. You see how I psych myself up for games? That's how I make games that really matter to me matter. Because I was like, the Titans are playing so bad the last couple weeks. And Derrick Henry ran for over 100 yards. They still lost. He fumbled. You had 2 interceptions by Malik Willis. I just had a feeling that the Texans was winning this game. Because as bad as the Texans have played, they have not played worse than the Titans the last couple weeks. The Titans, to me, are in a free fall. The Titans could lose the rest of their games this season. That's where I'm at. And even though I know the Chargers are not as great a team as people thought they would be, they should win out the rest of their games this season because they playing against bad teams. It's a level of, I think the Chargers bad, but I still expect them to win games. I think the Titans bad, too, right now. But they bad enough to where I think they could actually lose it, which is why I wanted to pick the Texans. I just wasn't about to do that for no 1-12-1 team. That's now 2-12-1. But I told you going into that game, I just had a strong, and you got to understand, if I have a strong feeling about a team as bad as the Texans, what is that telling you that I feel about the Titans right now? Like, I don't know what's going on with this Titans team, but Jesus Christ. The 7-6, Jesus Christ, another one of these motherfuckers. The 7-6-1 Commanders headed to San Fran to take on the 10-4 76ers, I was going to say. The 10-4 49ers, and the 49ers pick up big body dubs. 20-37 win for the 49ers, a couple turnovers in the game. I reiterated Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa is the MVP to me, not MVP, the defensive player of the year to me. He had yet another strip sack. Dude's insane. The Commanders benched Tyler Heineke late in this game. Which game was it that I was? Oh, I'm going to get to that game in a minute. But, bro, I was watching the game. And a dude threw an interception at such an inopportune time. But I don't think it was that Commanders game. Or was it? It was a fourth quarter interception where it was that Eagles game. Where I'm like, yo, you got to be kidding me right now. But the Commanders, it was a couple things that happened Sunday where I was like, bro, you got to be fucking kidding me right now. Like where if I was a head coach, I don't know how I'm emotionally holding it in right now after. Like if I'm Bill. Fuck Bill. If I'm Mac Jones and Stevenson fumble that ball where we was at, I don't know how I don't snap on him in that moment. I just don't know how. I don't know how. Because Stevenson not going to take the heat that I'm finna take for this. They're going to find ways to blame me for this loss, and they're going to ignore, the fumble is just something that happened. Let's talk about earlier in the game. You know what I'm saying? They're going to find, they ain't even going to talk about Joe Burrow's horrendous game he had. Speaking of Joe Burrow, I told y'all. I do not know how to judge how good Joe Burrow is. And it's because of shit like this. Amongst the other things I talk about with Joe Burrow, this is what I'm saying. If Joe Burrow's weapon, and T. Higgins, the dude I've been raving about for the last couple weeks, had the best game of all the receivers today. It's not a shocker that T. Higgins had the best receiving. He's a number one receiver just like the other two. What I want to say, though, is it's not shocking to me when the three receivers or his best players, if they don't have great games, like when they have off games, Joe Burrow have an off game. When they play great, Joe Burrow play great. However, the media will tell you, oh, Joe Burrow playing bad because everybody else around him not doing their job. And if everybody else, if they having successes, oh, Joe Burrow, look at these throws, look at it. When more so it'd be like, look at this run after contact. Look at this fucking catch. And Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, like I said, but it's hard to know how great he really is. Because he played with so much talent that it's like, bruh, people talk about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts don't got the talent on his offense that that Joe Burrow have. So, you know, I'm just one of them people who continuously cannot. I truly do not know how to judge how great Joe Burrow is individually. It's just so hard because of because of the type of talent he plays with. But the 13-1 Eagles headed into Dallas to take on the 10-4 Cowboys, and obviously I love the Eagles because I love Jalen Hurts and a lot of other dudes on the team. But I picked the Cowboys to win this game going into the game, and the game played out basically how I thought it would, 34-40. A bad interception in the fourth quarter by Gardner Minshew, followed that up by a fumble by Miles Sanders. The Eagles had like 3 or 4 turnovers in this game, and usually when the Eagles lose, it's because they lose the turnover game, because this is a team that really don't turn the ball over that much. What I learned from this game, however, was even though the Cowboys won, Micah Parsons got to feel like a big old dumbass, because it ain't no way you feel that same way about Jalen Hurts that you felt on that Von Miller show. That you feel after it's no way you feel the same way after this game, because y'all would have lost this game. The Cowboys would have lost this game handily if Jalen Hurts had played. That's what I got from this game. I didn't get that the Cowboys was the better team, and I'm glad that this game happened, because I thought that the Cowboys might have actually won this game by at least 2 scores, because I thought Gardner Minshew was going to go out there and get tortured. That's not the case. Yet again, the Cowboys defense, while they did get 2 turnovers, well, a couple turnovers, the offense for the other team still was able to get up and down the field. You take away them turnovers, if Jalen Hurts playing, them is scores. This Cowboys team might have regressed, and I might not even been paying attention too close, because they might not be playing teams that should have beat them. And then they did lose to a team they should have beat, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And now you let Gardner Minshew light your ass up like that? I don't know, man. I told you, I don't think it's a team in the NFC better than the Eagles. I still don't think the 49ers better than them. The 49ers are the second best team. I will die on this Philadelphia Eagles team led by Jalen Hurts. And that's what this proved to me today. If Jalen Hurts was playing in this game, the Eagles win this game. I don't know how you look at this Eagles team and say, oh, it's the talent. Yeah, it is talent. That's why Gardner Minshew was able to do what he was able to do. But they didn't win this game because of all the talent. They would have won this game if they had Jalen Hurts on the field. See, just because you got a lot of talent don't mean you're going to win. A lot of teams done had talent and don't win because they don't got that guy. It's funny to me how it's so easy for people to say Jalen Hurts was trash when he didn't have all that talent around him. But then he raised his level of play with the talent around him, and now it's not Jalen Hurts, it's the talent around him. Y'all motherfuckers are foul, ill, real ugly type individuals. But Jalen Hurts play, the Eagles win this game. That's what I got from it. My thoughts on the Eagles did not change one bit. They probably win this game even without Jalen Hurts if they don't turn the ball over like they did. So, bro, I'm still high on the Eagles. As you can imagine, my heights for the Eagles have not changed at all this year. Like I said, I think I only done picked against the Eagles once. Well, I picked against them when they lost against this game because I picked the Cowboys to win it because I understand the value of a Jalen Hurts. I picked them to beat the Commanders and they lost that game. Or did I pick them to win that game? I can't remember if I picked them to win that game or not. But I only done picked against the Eagles like twice or 3 times. And no more than 3 times this season. I done been on the Eagles damn near all year. I done picked them to win every single game they play, bro. I just love the Eagles, bro. I fuck with Jalen Hurts heavy. I done watched this dude since he was at Alabama. Watching this dude's development is insane. I love that they went out and got this type of talent around him. Bro, the Eagles is a championship type of team, bro. There's no way you don't have fun watching this team play. The 6th Sunday Night Football, 2 6-8 teams. The Raiders headed to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. They honored Franco Harris, who passed away, I think it was last week. He was the dude with the immaculate reception, so R.I.P. to Franco Harris. They had the patches on them, I think it was. They came out with all his number, with his number on their jerseys and whatnot. And they got a big dub for them tonight. They win this game 10-13, but good Lord have mercy. The Raiders are something fucking else. I'm going to tell you what's always weird. It's crazy when validation, I pride myself on being consistent on a lot of the takes that I have. Unless it's new information and new things that are brought into the equation, and I adjust it. But for the most part, when I have the information I need, I make a consistent analysis on something. It's beautiful when that consistent analysis is mixed with results. Listen, I told you, Derek Carr is inconsistent as they come. And I understand he had some batted balls tonight that got tipped, but he threw a lot of bad passes tonight that should have been picked off anyways. Not to mention, this is exactly the problem with Derek Carr. The inconsistency. Bro, Derek Carr from last year. If you take his performance from last year, I don't care what the numbers was, you take the Derek Carr from last year and put him on this team, this Raiders team is in the playoffs. But it's just you never know what you're going to get from Derek Carr on a year-to-year basis. Combine that with the fact that I still don't think I still don't think the head coach is that great. The head coach, Josh McDaniels. I think he got a lot of credit for Tom Brady being great. That's another person who eating off of Tom Brady. Like, the Raiders should not be. This motherfucking team scored 10 points and they got Davante Adams, bro. It's going to look like Davante Adams couldn't make a lot of tough catches tonight when really the ball was thrown in just some of the craziest places tonight where Davante tried to save. It's just, I done said this before. It would be franchise incompetence and malpractice if the Raiders did not try to do everything in their power to trade for Lamar Jackson. Now, a lot of teams can say that. A lot of teams can say that because if you're another team and you're looking at this Baltimore situation, see what's fucking Baltimore up is I don't know if they realize it's a team out there that's going to pay Lamar Jackson exactly what he wants. If a team paid Deshaun Jackson that, you dumb as hell if you think a team won't pay Lamar Jackson that. But here's the thing. It's not just a team that's going to pay Lamar that. It's a team that's willing to pay Lamar that and go out and still build the team, a legitimate contending team around him. Meaning this is a team that's out there that's going to pay him and go get him a Stephon Diggs. It's going to get him a Justin Jefferson. The Vegas Raiders already got Davante Adams. They got Josh Jacobs, who they would give a clean, easy, cap-friendly contract to. You don't think they should be doing everything in their power right now to trade for Lamar Jackson when the offseason hit? They got some picks. Now, I'm not saying Baltimore going to trade him, but if Baltimore come to the realization he ain't coming back, they're going to have no choice but to eventually trade him because it's going to cost too much to continue to franchise tag him. Hell, it's going to cost a lot to franchise tag him this year if they have to do that. So as much as people continue to say, oh, he's going to get franchise tag for 3 years, he's not. It's going to cost too much this year. It's a $45 million cap hit this year. Basically a $50 million cap hit for having a franchise tag Lamar Jackson. Do you know how much that hinder your team? See, people like to always say a contract is hurting your team. Oh, this contract for this long-term. No, long-term contracts actually help the team. When you got to pay a player $50 million guaranteed next year, basically, because you didn't get to the long-term contract that he rightfully deserved and you didn't build around him in your rookie contract, well, that's on you. The Raiders should see that and be like, yo, we got to do everything in our power to go get him. If they did everything in their power to go get Davante, you think they wouldn't do everything in their power to try to go get Lamar Jackson? Same with the Jets. Same with the 49ers, to be completely honest with you. It's a lot of teams. If I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm literally saying Lamar Jackson is a Super Bowl contender for me. Every year I'm with Lamar Jackson, I'll be in the Super Bowl if I got him. That's what Kyle Shanahan should be saying to himself. If I could find a way to get my hands on a fucking Lamar Jackson, oh my God. He already feel like he got a better tight end. He got the people's tight end. All right? He got the people's tight end. George Kittle. You know I love George Kittle. Love George Kittle. I'm so happy. Ever since I told y'all that they was not using my boy, they've been using him every week. Shout out to George Kittle, the people's tight end. But it's a lot of teams out there that would be willing to go out and pay that price for Lamar Jackson and go get him weapons if they already didn't have it. So the Raiders are a team that I feel like in the offseason should definitely be a team that's trying to make that move to try to bring over Lamar Jackson because Derek Carr is just not winning you a Super Bowl. He ain't getting you to a Super Bowl. He ain't getting you to a playoffs on a yearly basis. But I do want to remind people, in the offseason, Colin Cowherd had Derek Carr, who he was critical of every year until last year when he got emotional and started feeling like, oh, that's a white dude, so I'm going to start. It's white dudes do this shit, bro. White men in the media will forget all the ugly in a white dude's career, and they just have one good season, and it's all clean from there. And he had that motherfucker ranked in the top 10 over Lamar Jackson. Somebody with the accomplishments of, if Derek Carr had an MVP, a unanimous MVP, he would be ranked in the top 10 for the next 6 years, even if he played bad, because they would keep leaning back off of that. But Lamar Jackson's accomplishments not a top 10 quarterback. And that, you know how disrespectful it is when you got a top 5 quarterback who ain't even ranked in the top 10 because the media didn't think he was insane, absolutely insane. But with that being said, yo, I do appreciate. Before I go, let me get the Steelers some love real quick. Mike Tomlin and this team, boy, they just keep on fighting. I would not be surprised if this team didn't finish over, because I could care less about the Ravens last couple games. We in the playoffs now. I could care less where we end up in the playoffs. That don't matter to me. Winning the division don't matter to me if we ain't got Lamar Jackson. I'm just telling you right now, bro, Joe Burrow can go win the division. I could give 2 fucks. You only win the division when Lamar get hurt. Like, my boy, that's something that's ingrained in my mind. Win the division when Lamar play a full season, my boy, and I say nothing about it. And it's not even playing a full season. Lamar is playing the majority of these seasons, my guy, and he in first place until when Lamar was playing last year. Baltimore was first in the AFC. No weapons that the other teams have, and he still was first in the AFC. They give him no credit for that. He wasn't ranked a top 10 quarterback after that. Joe Burrow took the division after Lamar got hurt. This year, while Lamar healthy, first in the AFC in his division. Get hurt, Joe Burrow and them take the lead. So, you know, I understand how the media look at Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow a great player. But Lamar's your dad. And I'm in it with that. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him, man. Have a Merry motherfucking Christmas. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, you know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.